You should be dominant. Kyrie Irving, you're the leader. You're a crappy leader, Kyrie Irving. You are the reason that team is in the tank. And by in the tank, I mean probably going to lose to the Indiana Pacers, who lost their best player and will still probably win that first round series. It looks like Indiana will be the 4, Boston will be the 5. And it's possible. It is possible that Boston beats Indiana, and they should. But it's funny we even have to talk about it because the Celtics are just underperforming. It's a little bit like the Lakers situation is. The young players are upset. In this case, it has nothing to do with the trade rumors that have seemed to embattle the Lakers, but more on how Kyrie Irving is unable to gel and lead his young team. And because of that, it's affecting their play. So I don't consider Boston a threat in the East. I do consider the Milwaukee Bucks, the Toronto Raptors, and the Sixers threats, but I really do think it's going to come down to the Sixers and the Raptors. I still think the NBA is a gradual growth league. The Bucks are very, very good, but they don't shoot the ball real great. And one superstar who hasn't made it to the Eastern Conference Finals yet probably isn't enough to get there this time. But they're a really good team, and they're going to be really good. There's been some real good chatter out of Milwaukee from Giannis Antetokounmpo about how much he wants to stay in Milwaukee, how he wants to be the best player on his team, stay with his team, and build it. And I hope he does. That is a great story they're working on out in Milwaukee. I just don't think this is their year, that's all. So I still think it's going to come down to Toronto or the Sixers, who will probably be on the same side of the bracket, so they'd play in the second round of the playoffs. And I do think Toronto is the better team. Philadelphia has the best starting 5, but they're not very deep. And I think in the finals, or in the playoffs rather, defenses are going to be able to key on their scores a little bit more. And I don't think the 76ers really have somebody who the offense can run through effectively. I know Ben Simmons is a real talented guy. I love Ben Simmons. But his confidence in his shot is awful. And teams are making other players beat them. And the Sixers really don't have another playmaker to handle the ball and carry them. So I still think Toronto's probably the best team in the East, and we'll see what happens as the playoffs get ready to start here in a couple weeks. One final thing in the NBA, and I had no idea this was actually going to happen, is that the Rookie of the Year conversation is very interesting. Let me first give credit to, we'll just say honorable mention here, Colin Sexton of the Cleveland Cavaliers. Colin Sexton, like a lot of rookies, took him a while to get used to the NBA. But he has gotten used to the NBA, and in the last few weeks, he has been unbelievable. Now, it remains to be seen what kind of point guard he's going to be in the NBA, because basically he is a scorer and an above-average defender. But last week, he had 26 points a game, 3 assists, and 2 rebounds. He looks like Allen Iverson right now. He's fast, he's strong, he scores all over the court, and he might be really special. Now, he's not going to be that playmaking point guard, but if his three-pointer continues to develop, he is going to be an excellent NBA point guard, and the Cavs could have made an excellent pick in taking him where they did. And while the Cavs are winning, and Kevin Love and Colin Sexton are playing much better, they still seem locked in at the 3rd worst record in the NBA, which would give them the same odds for the first overall pick as the New York Knicks and the Phoenix Suns. Now, the Phoenix Suns, if they get the number 1 pick and they continue to grow that young group out there, they should be better, but they are just in disarray. And, of course, everyone thinks the New York Knicks are going to strike big in free agency and that Zion Williamson is a lock to go to New York, a la the Patrick Ewing frozen envelope incident of 1984. But we'll see how that all breaks down. But props to Colin Sexton and to the Cleveland Cavaliers as they're playing a little bit better, and they will have an excellent player to pick from come next June. Now, as to the actual Rookie of the Year, that seems like it's still locked in. Luka Doncic came out on fire, and it really wasn't unexpected. This was a kid who won the EuroLeague MVP. He had 3 years of professional basketball under his belt before he came to the NBA. And that's really why he's going to win Rookie of the Year. Because Trae Young is the better player right now. Trae Young is on fire. His numbers are similar, although slightly lower in all categories, to Luka Doncic. But since January 1st, he's been more efficient, he has shot better, and he has just been the better player than Luka. And look, they were traded for each other on draft day, so they're always going to be compared. But Trae Young has just been unbelievable. He hit a buzzer beater on Sunday, and he has just been shooting the lights out. And again, this all comes down to the adjustment period that it takes to come into the NBA. I think Trae Young had a big adjustment. He shot the ball terribly, but now he is shooting the ball. He is confident, and I would not put it past him that he's going to be the best NBA player out of this draft, and not Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic is a good player. He's athletic. He plays good defense, but he's slightly out of position in the NBA. And eventually that catches up with you because you have to decide what you're going to be as an NBA player. And part of that is how you fit into a team. Right now that he plays the shooting guard, but he's also the primary rebounder on that team. That's never going to be a great thing. You want your forwards to be your rebounders. So how does that adapt? How does that adjust into his game? We don't know, but he's obviously still very, very good. I just think Trae Young has a more natural position. He seems to be playing it well, and it'll be fun watching it go forward. That is all the time we have this week. I want to thank Brad Turner again. I want to thank you all for listening to the show and my insights on the NCAA Tournament, the NBA, Bob Kraft, and just so many other things. I really enjoy spending time with everybody. Hope you enjoyed the show. Give me a like or follow on Twitter, a mention, any of that. Really appreciate it. We're on Twitter at Cinder Sports, Facebook, Cinderblock Sports, email, cinderblocksports@gmail.com. We'll be back next week. We hope to have an interview with Zach Mizell of theathletic.com as the Indians start rolling. We'll have lots more on the NCAA Tournament, and I will actually get to my thoughts on Ichiro. Just ran out of time this week, but I really want to talk about him, his place in baseball history, and why Pete Rose is just a bitter old man when it comes to Ichiro Suzuki. Thanks again. It's been a pleasure. Have a great week. Talk to you soon.